Connie's in her new home, everybody. So exciting to have her in the new shop. We're gonna slap the new rear brakes on from fastbrakes.com. But first, we've gotta get her up in the air. Well, as you can see, we've got some tuning to do here on our WiseFab drift kit. Got some tire rubbage. Not really. Still got the Toy tuning stuff in there. We just didn't center the wheel. We didn't do the alignment at all, so it was a bit of a challenge to get it on and off the trailer. So we got some work to do to fix that all up, but we'll get to that shortly. But first, let's get Connie in the air with our quick jack. She's all set up under there. Eventually, we're gonna put some two-post lifts in here, but in the meantime, the quick jack's gonna do the job. On the locks. We're good to go. Let's put some rear brakes on this thing, Moose.
Oh, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I'm not jammed under there like a sausage in a blanket.
It's a good look for you, Moose. All right, let's take some wheels and tires off. How goes the battle, Moose?
It's going. I'm sort of doing a test fit here. I've got the caliper radial mount adapter in place. I just hand fitted in the studs for the caliper. Now I can put the rotor on and we can bolt it down, test fit it, make sure everything's good before I go permanent with Loctite and all that fun stuff.
Right.
So we'll just get this thing up.
What?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I sense a problem. I just need a bigger hammer. Bigger hammer! Yeah.
Anyway, we might just re-drill these to a 4x114.
If they're the right offset, though.
Yeah, that I don't know. So I'll take the part number off there, which you can see is kind of scribed on the center hat. And we'll sort this out. So I guess in the meantime, we're going to work on other things.
Like
diff fluid.
Probably the front track suspension thing.
We got to work on that.
Because really, since the last time we bolted it up, it was cold and ugly, and
we just slapped it together just to kind of
get it roller status. Really,
yeah. So let's go fix that.
Fix that up. We got a bunch of little random projects we got to work on. So
it'll be one of those days where we do random stuff.
Yeah, everything's going to plan.
Pete's here today too, and he's using his new label maker. He's pretty pumped about labeling his toolboxes and having this place be all pro spec.
Well, if Moose is going to be using my tools, then he needs to know where they're at. Because I know he's got that short fuse.
That's right.
And
he knows to know where
let
the
it be
big hammer
known, this drawer is broken. So in a future video, it needs a lot of finesse in and out. You see, it gets caught here.
Yeah.
So in a future video, if Moose pulls this out and it breaks, I'm just going to say, I told you and him so. Because I've already mentioned to it. And it's written big bold letters here.
Job one, now that we can't do the rear brakes, is put some diff fluid in this thing so that when we're rolling around, it's not wearing gears out. So
yeah,
pull the plug.
Yeah. Oh well. It looks like it may have been pour 15 in place.
Oh, you think
How
so?
did that happen?
I have no idea. That must have been your work.
Yeah.
I would never have done something like that.
No, Dave didn't get over enthusiastic with the pour 15.
No, it's all good here. There she goes. I bought the Austin Powers Edition fluid transfer pump.
That's not mine.
It's got all the girthiness you would ever need. We hate those metal ones that just leak past the seal and they make a big mess, so did a little research and apparently these are much cleaner. Moose going with the standing move. I like it. Is this technique gonna work? Wow, look at the effort on that face, everyone. That's full effort. It's almost like an episode of Measuring with Moose going on here. I guess technically we are measuring here. There's fluid that we're going to measure. Does that mean it's time for another episode of
Measuring with Moose? Maybe Measuring with Moose, but this time I'm not measuring.
No, you're just sending it now.
I'm sending it, waiting for it to drool.
What percentage of Moose power is being used right now?
Well, right now I'm on my back, so I'm going to say about 40%.
40%, okay. That's still significant. That's like one normal human's full effort. Oh.
Yeah, so I guessed about right. So it's starting to drool.
Okay.
There we go.
let's move on to front suspension stuff. We continue to be foiled by the front suspension on this car. This is the front driver's side assembly. And when we had a look under the car to try to figure out why the tie rods were maxed out, but we still had a ton of toe out, and why it was interfering with the inside of the wheel, we realized that a few episodes ago when we swapped these from the left side to the right side of the car so that the caliper was mounted on the front side, so it's sort of like a leading edge caliper mounting. When we swapped that over, what we didn't do was swap the steering knuckles at the same time. So now the steering knuckle was on the wrong side of the car and it was oriented, it's got a curve to it, so it was pointing toward the rotor and the wheel, which was causing us to have to extend the tie rod too long and it was interfering with the wheel. Now that we figured that out, we can swap the steering knuckles from left to right and everything will fit. We won't be interfering. We still have some caster dialing to do because you could see the wheel was too far back in the wheel well. But with these swapped over, we'll have tie rods that fit and don't interfere with the wheel. There you go. Steering knuckle removed. So, with that one off, we can go grab the other one.
And flippity floppity.
Flippity floppity. So Moose scattered the suspension like a yard sale here, and now he's struggling to remember how it all goes back together, even though he just finished doing the other side. What's going on, Moose?
I'm having a moment.
I'm having a perfect moment.
The idea here was simple. It was just take the suspension arms apart, clean them up, lube them up, and then torque it all down to spec now that we finally know what we're doing and have everything assembled properly. And instead it's turned into just a mess of tools everywhere. Moose swearing like a sailor. Are we done yet?
Have you finished chirping me?
Is that even possible?
No, but it is slowing things down.
So you know the answer to the question. All right, Moose has got the suspension back in, all snugged down, torque to spec. At least that's what we're going to go with. And now we're going to center the wheel in the wheel well, and we'll show you how to do that. It's pretty awesome that these tension rods are adjustable because that really lets us move the wheel forward and backward in the wheel well, which is obviously changing caster at the same time. It actually looks pretty good. You guessed pretty close there, Moose. You're too good at this.
No, because it was not a guess. Because
Oh.
I had this.
Oh
Yes.
no. Another?
Measuring with Moose.
So even though Moose got it nice and centered up by measuring the other side, we're just going to show you how, as he rotates that front tension rod,
I'm pushing the wheel back.
it actually moves the wheel back in the wheel well, which is reducing caster. Just loosen those jam nuts on either end and turn the body of the rod, right?
Yeah, and it just shortens the whole arm essentially, and then there is the for the steering rack, so that I can, same deal, I can adjust this, adjust in tow.
Aligning your toe, yeah?
Yeah.
All right, well, let's get it roughed in, and then we'll be ready to take it to the rack whenever we get a chance. Now's the time where we would reinstall our Wilwood front calipers, but before we do that, I want to show you another option that I was considering doing, which is why I have this bracket. This is from a company called Modception, and it's a caliper bracket designed to accept FC or FD RX-7 calipers like this one. This is one of Ken's spare FD calipers off of his car, and since he had these kicking around, I thought, you know what, that car has such good brakes, why don't I use these on the Celica? So I ordered these caliper brackets, which literally just bolt right to the spindle, and then the caliper bolts to it, like that. So that's how they mount up to the spindle. The reason I decided against this was basically it came down to size. It's a big caliper, and it's a fairly heavy caliper, and it doesn't necessarily clear all that 15-inch wheels all that well, especially if you want to run something a little vintage, maybe a 3-piece wheel with like a stepped lip in it. Doesn't clear a lot of those wheels, where the Wilwoods, as you can see, are quite a bit smaller and a lot lighter. Don't have a scale handy, but this thing weighs probably 10 pounds and this weighs probably 5 pounds. It's probably half the weight. And you can see it's just way, way smaller. So much more compact design. Still works really well at the racetrack. I know lots of guys that run these on AE86s at the track and they love them. So I think we'll still have really good stopping power. in a much more compact size, which means I can run some cool vintage or vintage style wheels if that's what I want to do. So let's bolt these back up, and then we'll get out a wheel template and check these for clearance, which may give you a little hint on what kind of wheels I'm thinking of running. So Moose quickly bolted up the wheel with caliper, and now we're going to check caliper clearance for wheels. These are some wheel templates from Work Wheels. These are obviously for the Ekeep 40 in a 15-inch 3-piece design. That may give you a hint of the wheel I may choose to run on the car. This is using their A disc, which is kind of like their medium depth lip. And this one is for their T disc, which is their shallowest lip, but has the best brake clearance. So the way the template works is this is for the center bore here, and this is to line up with one of the wheel studs. So if I put it on here, you can see it kind of lines up with this wheel stud with the center bore in the middle here, except the caliper for this template is designed to be over here. So I just need to flip it over. I put a mark on there to line up with the wheel stud. So that is centered, and you can see there's a ton of clearance around the caliper. Like I could drive a truck through here. There's, you know, half an inch over here. That's massive, massive clearance in the world of wheels clearing brakes. So we don't need to run the T-disc, which I'm happy about because has a very shallow lip. So it has kind of like too much of a flush face for the vintage look. The A-disc, which is their standard look, if we throw it in here, center it up, you can see it's got good clearance everywhere except right here on the shoulder, it's touching. So if we throw a 5mm spacer on here, we'll see if we clear. So just putting on a 3 or 4mm spacer here. I don't have a vernier caliper on me, but this looks about 4mm. And with that in place, it just clears. There's like a mil of clearance. It's pretty tight. So to be on the safe side, I would say, like if we doubled this up actually, you'll be able to see the clearance a little better than you can right now. There we go. So let's call that 8mm now, and we should have a ton of clearance. So yeah, you can see you can drive, you know, not a truck, but there's a good gap there. There's a, let's call it a 5mm to 6mm gap there, which is plenty of clearance. So this is a nice safe thickness to clear that disc, which is still a relatively small amount of spacer. I have lots of lug here, or lots of wheel stud I should say, so I'd be perfectly content running that much wheel spacer to get the look I want with the wheel I want. So I think I'd be safe to go ahead and order the Keep 40s in the A-disc style in whatever width I want, probably a 15x9. And having done some research on offset and with the over fenders that we're going to run, I have a pretty good idea of what offset I need. So you may see these on the car in the future, or maybe we'll do something completely different. No promises yet. That's a wrap on this episode of random stuff that needed to get done on Connie. Next episode, it's just going to be me and Pete, so no more Moose. Don't worry, he'll be back though. Next episode, we'll show you the new rear drive shaft that we have from Excessive Manufacturing, plus Pete and I are going to chip away at some little but important stuff like a clutch master cylinder, and maybe get to the throttle pedal and throttle cable arrangement. So stay tuned, more good Connie stuff coming at you soon.
Do you like sushi?
Get up!